Moxxie and Millie from Helluva Boss are cute, is what I would say if I were trying to win an obvious statement contest. But what about their flaws as a couple? Not to be a Debbie Downer here, but even the best couples have issues, and unfortunately I noticed that these two have a glaring one that should probably be taken care of sometime in the next few episodes. But before I go on yapping, hi, I'm Haley Z, and I am a therapist and aspiring voice actor and somebody who is just unbelievably invested in the show. And I really love talking about this show because even though it wasn't intended to be a very serious show, I do think that it has some really good points where we can talk about the interaction between people and complex emotions and of course complex trauma. So hopefully we can come up with some really good things as we do this analysis. So what's that glaring issue I have with Millie and Moxxie, you may ask? Well, let's look no further than the infamous 5th episode of Helluva Boss's 2nd season, Unhappy Campers. After Blitzo becomes frustrated and distracted at the prospect of tracking down his sister, the M&Ms are sent to an earthly summer camp on behalf of a murder client to kill the person who just killed him. Blitzo puts Moxxie fully in charge of this mission, who has the brilliant idea of disguising his and Millie's identities through cross-dressing. Through this scheme, Millie becomes the effortlessly cool teenage heartthrob Millard, and Moxxie transforms into the cringe-inducing stereotype of a teenage girl he calls Moxxine. And oh my god, you guys, having grown up in Southern California, this shit was scary to watch. Not Moxxie himself, because he was just clearly very silly, but more the reaction of the girls to his character. Like, it gave me major flashbacks to the time I tried to fit in with the cool girls in like 5th or 6th grade, and yeah, as you can see, this anime dork would have never stood a chance. The kids at summer camp are instantly drawn to the fun-loving, confident Millard and have an equal and opposite reaction to Moxxine, causing Moxxie and Millie to have this exchange shown here.
Mox, you'll never believe it! They want me to perform on stage tonight for the local news! Those videos have made me some kind of human celebrity.
All week it's been, oh, look at Millard. Isn't he great? Oh, look how talented Millard is. We have a job to do, and you're off dancing for views. Why does it matter so much how these yokels feel about you?
It doesn't. It matters how I feel about myself. And for once, I feel like I'm important. Like I'm somebody to be proud of. And I had hoped that my husband would be there to support me half as much as I've supported him this week.
Millie, I didn't mean...
Save it, Mox. You could have finished that job anytime if you had just listened to me. But you wanted to do things your way. So fine, finish the job, go home if you want to, but I'm gonna have my moment with or without you.
As we can see here, Moxxie is clearly jealous of the attention Millie's getting here, while Millie's showing frustration at him going to this emotional place instead of just supporting her on this mission. And frankly, given Moxxie's obnoxious behavior throughout the rest of the episode, it's easy to look at this scene and feel like Moxxie is being a certified baby-backed bitch. But honestly, is this behavior, however inappropriate it may be, really coming out of left field? In prior episodes, we see that Moxxie's made the butt of the joke pretty much every time we would hope for him to flourish. Season 1, Episode 1 is basically 60% Moxxie getting bullied. A few episodes later, in the Harvest Moon episode, Moxxie is relentlessly mocked by Blitzo and Stryker in front of Millie's family, who don't end up showing any respect towards him until the very end of the episode. He gets the shit beat out of him the second he stands up to his dad in Season 2, Episode 3. He gets called fat randomly for no reason several times throughout the series, which, like, okay. But need I go on? We can kind of see why Moxxie is insecure. Now, I'm not saying all of this to excuse Moxxie's behavior by any means, but we can see why Moxxie may have just a bit of a chip on his shoulder, especially compared to how everyone seems to see his wife. So this is the point where I pretend I can animate myself and turn into a little in-universe therapist to give my advice on how Moxxie can overcome his insecurity and reframe his jealousy for his wife back into the admiration I know he has. Maybe one day I can get hired as a character on the show and do that. I mean, a girl could dream, but here's what I have for now. I think whenever we're dealing with relationship insecurity, we really have to start with how we see ourselves. If you're comparing yourself to your partner or finding yourself envious of what they have, how they're seen, and whatnot, it's important to think about what you have rather than what you don't have or what you don't have in comparison to them. In Moxxie's example, we see that throughout the show he clearly does have a ton of positive qualities. He's compassionate insofar as an assassin demon from hell can be. He's devoted to his boss, even when his boss acts extremely sus. He's skilled with weapons, he's agile, he's limber, he's a talented musician, and most of the time he really is so attentive and sweet to his wife. I think if he could remind himself of these things, he would realize the value he brings not just to the relationship, but to the world. Just in general, I think this is a good thing to do sometimes with yourself, because shit can really get you down sometimes. This is why I'm a big fan of journaling or otherwise notating your accomplishments and positive things that you or others notice about yourself. Sometimes we all need a reminder that, hey, we kind of kick ass, even if we're not the best at some things and even if we outright suck at other things. We still have a huge combination of skills, talents, and traits that make us interesting, dynamic, and unique. Another important thing to keep in mind that I often tell my own clients is that people tend to pick the partners they feel they deserve, for better or for worse. We know so far that Millie, despite certainly having moments of feeling insecure, is largely an extremely confident and competent woman. And although we've been definitely robbed of opportunities thus far to go deep with her, we largely can see that she is one of the healthiest, mentally speaking, cast members by far. So if Millie's so great, and she knows she's so great, wouldn't it stand to reason that she's picking Moxxie because she feels that he is great? And, I mean, therefore she sees Moxxie for all of his good qualities? I don't mean to oversimplify things this way, and I recognize that things are not necessarily always black and white like this, but I do like people to keep this in mind if they have the feeling that they're not quote-unquote good enough for their partner, because generally speaking, awesome people tend to commune with other awesome people. So is it so off base to think that maybe you're attracting a certain type of person because you hold similar qualities? Overall, I think if Moxxie could internalize these two important messages, he would maybe start to see himself as an awesome guy with an equally awesome wife, even if they have different strengths individually. And again, I know that he does largely already see his wife in a hugely positive light, but I would also love for that not to be tainted by the insecurities he has for himself. My pipe dream for the show's future would be to see this whole dynamic play out and to see the character development within, and thankfully we have about 2 more seasons to see if this comes to fruition more or less, and you guys. God, somebody animate me into the show, please, please. Anyways, y'all, I hope that this was helpful from not just like a character analysis perspective, but also from, I guess, a human perspective, because obviously these are issues that can totally affect us no matter who we are and what kind of relationship we're in. So please let me know if you thought this was helpful, and if you want me to analyze anything else in Helluva Boss, any other characters, any other couples. And honestly, I do a lot of stuff related to indie animation on here. It's just a really huge passion of mine, and I'm finding that there are just so many wonderful indie projects that we can really do a whole lot of analysis on. So yeah, I'm always open, and again, sorry that there is a continuous trash collection saga happening in the background of this video. But anyways, thank you so much for being here. I love having you guys here and in my comment section. And I already can't wait for the next one, y'all. Okay, bye!